Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 216. This show is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, the release of Shadowkeep looms around the corner, so we discuss the final preview for the Shadowkeep patch notes, talk about our plans for launch week, and finally hear from a listener and talk about our favorite gun builds from Destiny. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT and, of course, CyborgSasquatch. Hello, friend.
Hello, fellow astronaut.
How are you today?
Unusually excited.
Really?
I mean,
Why?
I feel like it's Christmas.
Oh, it's so close. It still kind of hasn't hit me that it's next week. I keep reminding myself because I'm off. I took off one day next week, the day after launch, and I'm like,
nice.
oh yeah, that's right. It's next week already. It's
Yep.
amazing. Did you take any time off?
Yes, I took a little time off, as much as I could get away with, because it's been like unusually busy lately.
It is. We've got like 2 sets of auditors. One is done. Another is on the way at the end of the month. And it's like, man, come on. Can we not do this in the fall? Yeah. Really ever, but you know, the fall.
Hopefully you'll be able to play Shadowkeep before they bring you to prison.
You know, examiners, auditors, in my profession. Well, with any profession, is it ever fun when like examiners and auditors are in your office?
Is synonymous with a terrible time.
Right. But the last one went pretty well. But I have a hard time deciding every time there's a launch, especially in the fall, if I'm going to take off. I usually talk myself out of it. I don't take off the day of. I take off the day after. I'm like, okay, do I want to take off and then the content not drop till noon? Or do I want to just take off the next day and be off the whole day when the content is already launched and be sitting at work at 12 when it hits? It's like you could take both days. I don't really want to use 2 vacation days, but so I decided to go the day after this year. So
yeah, that way you get like a full day, right? Yes,
the way that it lands, at least the way that the timing that they release it. I'm 2 hours. We are 2 hours after Central, so yeah, it works out.
Shadowkeep is upon us. The moon stirs with specters.
It does, and I think you've already started to devour it, but I mean, maybe you can hear a little wrapper here. We said we would. We have our moon pies.
It sat in front of me for a while before this show started, and I opened it, and I was like, okay, I'll be prepared. And I just was like, well, let me take one
Can't
bite.
not eat it,
then,
right? I'm going to take a bite here.
You know.
I like them with milk, but these banana ones I've mentioned, I really enjoy with a cup of coffee. But I don't have coffee.
Yeah, you're not
tonight.
even a coffee guy, so what an odd combination.
I am. This is really good. Join us, guys, by the way, if you're not following us on Twitter, where this episode and the next episode, we're going to be eating moon pies to celebrate. So,
right now,
if you want to get one for the next...
First time we've ever ate anything on their show.
I think so. At least intentionally without trying to be quiet. Trying not to smack.
We invite you to partake in moon pies on launch day.
Yes. So we'll be doing this again next episode, next week, next reset, if you want to join us.
Yep.
I'm only one bite into mine, though. So, I mean, do I have to not finish it to the end of the episode, or is it okay if I keep eating this? Maybe while you
just
talk.
Go ahead and finish it. I'm gonna do an impromptu giveaway, if you will.
Yeah, okay.
I happen to have a Moonsters emblem.
Ooh.
That you can only get from attending either Guardian Con or PAX West this year. And I saved one for just this occasion.
Wow.
So here's what you want to do. If you want to win a Moonsters emblem, you're going to need to go and send us a picture on Twitter. I want you to tweet at Destiny Reset a picture of you partaking in your moon pie.
I love this.
A moon pie, copyright TM. or the best approximation you can get where you live. With, if you can, get some of that shadow keep in the background to show us your moon fervor.
Fantastic.
If you will. So, all right, so tweet these at us. We're going to retweet them to celebrate on launch day. But if you tag us with your pick, you'll be entered in a chance to win your emblem, and then we'll give it away next week.
That's awesome, dude. Glad you saved that. What a great time. I will say, though, warning. I already knew this, but they flake quite a bit, so I'm trying not to get stuff in my keyboard here. So
yeah, just get a little messy.
Warning. Yes. They're delicious, though. So delicious.
We had a lot of tweets this week about moon pies. If you don't know, a moon pie is a s'more to go.
Basically.
Yep. It's graham cracker with marshmallow in the middle, wrapped in chocolate.
Mm-hmm. Or banana. Or vanilla. And I actually had to get the knockoff. It's actually not knockoff. Of course, Little Debbie is not a generic brand, but Little Debbie has what they call marshmallow pies. They're the same thing.
And then you can get different flavors, like banana, orange, and just all kinds of stuff. Like inevitably people want something different. But pro tip, stick it in the microwave for a few seconds.
Right. Heard that on Twitter this week. Hadn't done that yet.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right, that's what we're doing this week. We're pumped, moon pies and all. It's almost time, Guardians.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm whispering.
Bonus credit if you have some astronaut ice cream.
Ooh, there you go.
Or Dippin' Dots, right? It's the same thing. Freeze-dried ice cream.
So close. Almost time for Eris once
all about
again.
the moon.
The moon. Can't wait.
It's all about.
It's going to take us back, man.
It's being haunted.
We're not going to talk about a lot of the preview footage we saw that I watched this week that you didn't. It's usually the same conversation every time.
Right.
Which is fun. But I will say, I think we're all going to have a nostalgia trip. Anybody that played Destiny 1 when we hit the moon. Got the map and everything now.
Can't wait.
So, okay.
Other announcements.
Yes, actually. I'm going to remind you guys the next couple episodes, just real quick. In just a couple weeks now, October, I believe it's 11th, 12th, and 13th. We're having the Dirt Fam Midwest meetup, or the Dirt Fam reunion, as we like to call it. It's in Sedalia, Missouri. I will be there Friday night and Saturday night. We basically just play video games the whole time and eat food when we remember, and or get hungry. But of course, Shadowkeep will have launch, so of course we'll be doing that power grind, I'm sure. And Elimination will be back. Anyways, we won't get off on that tangent. It is in a couple weeks. Just a reminder. Message me at AER0KNIGHT with a 0 in the Dirt Fam Discord, or Scorio at SCOREO70, I believe. Now I'm second guessing myself.
Yeah, it's coming
Message
up. It's
one of
close.
us. Yes, it's super close. Message if you have any questions. If you'd like to come, we got a separate Discord just to kind of coordinate the events. But again, I'll remind you guys next reset. As far as staying somewhere, we can probably figure out a way for you to be able to do that free, because he basically just puts up his house and lets us sleep anywhere on the floor we want. So if you're okay with that,
bring
good.
a blow-up mattress.
Basically, yeah. So there's
What's
that.
the dates
I'll remind
again?
you guys. It is October 11th, 12th, and 13th, I believe. I always feel like I'm a day off, but it is. It's technically the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. But if you want to come one day, come on Saturday if you can make it one day. But yes, that's what we'll be doing here in a couple weeks.
Midwest meetup.
Thank you to Ori for doing that for us every year.
Absolutely.
Sedalia, Missouri.
Miss that
You don't
guy.
know where that's at.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Been a bit, yeah.
Hey, we got a fun contest if you're in our community, which you'll want to join at discord.gg/Destiny Reset. What's the giveaway?
Well, we have two amazing community members. They did this last season, Eggonator and MD Sailor. Basically, put up $50 together per pinnacle weapon. And it's a race at the start of the season. Whoever obtains each pinnacle weapon first and messages one of those two individuals will get $50 gift card to their platform of choosing. So you can only win one. You can't win all three. And you do have to message them and typically post in our general chats. But we'll post an announcement in the Discord. You do need to be a part of the Discord, of course. Again, Cyborg said that already, discord.gg/Destiny Reset. But join there. You'll see the announcement, and you'll see what you have to do to possibly win that sweet cash gift card loot. So thanks to them. Yeah, that's super cool, man. This is 2 seasons in a row they've done that. Absolutely something they don't have to do at all, and they choose to do it. So give back to the Dirt fam. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
Very cool. Thank you, guys.
Oh, another thing I've just remembered I should plug. This past week, I was invited to be a guest on the Project Guardians podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Some friends of ours. Go check that out if you're interested. It's a podcast that promotes mental health awareness and support, run by a lot of folks that are also in the Destiny community. Pretty cool guys. So go check that out if you're interested.
Very cool. Awesome stuff. Mm-hmm. I just realized we usually try to do it pretty quick. We're 11 minutes in. We haven't even made it to the TWAB yet. Cyborg, we tried to do that to him.
We better get moving.
It's the moon pies.
It's these moon pies. They got us all crazy.
Sorry, guys. I'm not done with mine either, so sorry if you hear me munching here.
Well, you finish your moon pie, and I'll kick off the news.
Do it.
This week at Bungie, we're on final countdown for launch. It's the final countdown.
I got you.
All right. So first wonderful tidbit we got that I didn't expect was the Shadowkeep launch trailer, which is awesome.
Okay. If for some reason you haven't seen this thing, I've watched it over and over again. It's amazing.
Fantastic.
I saw some really good feedback on it. Like maybe it was partially this, like we're expecting Eris Morn, kind of dark, maybe a serious launch trailer. No, it was like Beck, like top notch beat with the tanks firing, just fantastic.
I love when they line up stuff like that with the music. You just can't go wrong.
So awesome.
Very cool. So awesome launch trailer. I think the coolest thing we were talking about before the show showed off some fun emotes, including a 3-person emote, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Fire team emote. Needed that one. But beyond that, in the TWAB, we got a friggin' dump of information
again
this week. Yeah, they're like, we know we've been keeping all this stuff moving, but we got more to talk about. So they list basically all the things that we got to hear about here: combat changes, progression and economy changes, patch note preview, ritual weapons and perk changes, set it straight, wear it with pride, and Bungie rewards. So we're going to pour right through this, and we're going to give you the highlights because it's too much to go in depth. It's one of those episodes.
Yep.
But we're going to try to give you what we think is most important to know. But we encourage you to read, if any, TWAB, probably this week's, because it's going to affect your launch week more than anything, the information therein. So don't rely on me to give you every single piece of important news this week, because the show would be 3 hours long.
And so we don't forget, because we were talking about this before the show. I don't know that they mentioned anywhere in here, but just a reminder, Destiny 1 and 2 is going to be down Monday the 30th, right?
Yes. When you
24 hours, right?
Live. Yeah, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, Destiny 1 and 2 will go down for the end user until launch of Shadowkeep. If you're hearing this, it's too late for you to do anything about it.
Yes.
Unless you get it like 4 a.m. Monday morning. So yeah, that's a big piece of news right there. We can't warn you. We're sorry. It's too late.
Yeah, I figure they're probably just taking it down for a day to finish up the coding to get trials in there for this next season.
I hate to disappoint you. Have we ever had downtime this long? I don't think we've ever been down this long.
I don't think so. No.
I remember maybe like a half a day once or twice, that they brought the game down. Maybe not even that long. Never 24 hours. So there's obviously some big stuff brewing over there. And they're providing themselves with lots of time to do it.
Yep.
All right, so let's dig into the news that we get in this TWAB this week. First off, they mentioned this weeks ago, but we're going to see some changes to how PvE damage numbers display. You'll probably notice that pretty quick if you ever look at those little floaty numbers, that they're going to appear as different floaty numbers. And that's because they've changed damage scaling. Basically, the multipliers that they're going to use to measure and project damage scaling are going to change, but it doesn't mean that you're doing less or more damage with any particular weapon. They've got to bring things down probably by a factor of 10 or something to make more sense. So that's the thing, and it details how that's going to work. But it's basically just a UI update, user interface, if you're not familiar. PvE difficulty tuner. This one's kind of interesting, and I think kind of sets up some of the things that we're seeing for PvE play in the end game of Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. Essentially, combatants that are 10 to 40 levels higher will take less time to kill and deal less damage. So if you're playing Destiny 2 right now, and there was an enemy with a power level that was, 10 to 40 levels above you, that would be an intimidating factor, right? And what it seems like what they're doing is kind of changing how that curve works to be a little more gradual, because higher level combatants will continue to increase in difficulty up to 100 power levels above the player. When they're above 100 power levels, they'll be immune to damage. You'll see nameplate icons on higher level combatants will be updated to reflect that. And it will only affect higher level combatants. This essentially, I'm reading this as ultras and bosses are probably what we're talking about here. Doubtful majors. But probably if there are special targets that are ultras or bosses in some of the new activities we're going to be playing, those might be enemies that, as you get above 960 and start to crawl up, you're going to want a continued challenge. And this is how they're going to provide that.
Right. Yep.
So cool stuff there. Progression and economy changes. Here's some big stuff here. So with power and progression, I'm going to get into some nitty gritty here because it's a little confusing because of changes of names and different stuff like that. All right. Non-powerful rewards, i.e. engrams or purple stuff that drop when you're playing the game, right? You kill a guy, he drops it purple, you pick it up, turns into a gun. Normally, it may be 15 to 20 power level points below your current level. Now they will drop 3 to 0 points below your highest equipable power level. This is extremely significant because typically when you're powering up, there can be issues with always there's one or two items that you just can't get to drop from a powerful source, right? It's holding you back. It's that cloak or that heavy weapon or something, and you're doing things that give you powerful rewards and they just give you other stuff, and it's 10 points below everything else. This gives you more items to fill in the gap and also ensures that the new items you receive are usable.
Right.
This is a really big deal. Year 2, read Forsaken and Annual Pass. Powerful reward sources have changed to legendary rewards. These sources no longer have a chance to drop a random exotic instead of the legendary gear. So you're only going to get legendary items. You will no longer have a chance to get an exotic from year 2 reward sources. Bonus exotics that drop from Nightfall, the Ordeal. The Ordeal is the new highest difficulty for the Nightfall that you can select.
Yeah. It's confusing because it comes across as the name of a nightfall.
Right. Yeah. They've got all these new terms and names. One of the rewards listed is exotic tier. So it says these will drop at the character's highest equipable power level. So not above, but at your highest level that you could equip. Under and over leveling activities no longer adjust how much power is received from the rewards. This is a underutilized mechanic from year 2. But if you went into, say, a Nightfall and it was like set at 750 power, say, with a Prestige Nightfall, and you went in at 650 power, your reward would be greater in adjusting power than if you went in at the same power level as the difficulty. That mechanic is a go bye-bye. No longer exists.
Remember when they talked about that one quite a bit? Bringing that in.
I think they tried to make that a way for the community to make its own challenge. And because it was underutilized, I just don't think it got used. I don't think enough people knew about it because there was no way for you to know that outside of the game,
right?
Or inside the game. So it seems like the new system basically will do that for you, because the certain characters or enemies will scale with you. Experience no longer fuels a player's character level, which has been changed, by the way, to level 50 for all characters. So experience instead progresses your season pass, your seasonal artifact mod, and power progressions, as well as the unlocking of destinations for new characters. So in our old system, as we got experience and we hit level 50, it would essentially roll over, and every time you leveled up, you had a chance at your new engram for the Eververse, right? No longer. So that just goes into your season pass now, so you can unlock things there. And then experience also levels up your artifact for the season and allows you to do things like select a new perk node. And as I understand, or I think it's going to work, once you get past that point, is when you'll be able to start to get those power bonuses from the artifact, and XP goes towards that.
Yeah, we were talking before the show just together, trying to clarify, because I read through this a few times too, and was still trying to wrap my head around it. It's I mean, everyone will be level 50, and just the point of experience is just kind of changing. Which, the only thing that's weird to me is this is and you and I didn't touch on this, it's a fall launch, so we typically get a level increase. So that just kind of goes away, I guess.
Yeah.
Our leveling
it was never
increases.
a mechanic that made any sense in the first place.
Right. Yeah. So it turns into our season pass or battle pass if you haven't gotten used to the season pass phrase yet. So leveling those 100 levels inside of that. And then of course Cyborg and I will talk about power and how it plays here in a minute too. One thing I did want to mention, so I didn't forget, we won't talk about any of the preview stuff that I've watched that a lot of our friend content creators have released over the last week. But one thing I did see that I don't consider a spoiler is I've mentioned this on the show before, but your icon above your character's name, from what I saw in some gameplay of a Nightfall, is now your class icon above your character. It did never show power, and it did never show your level 50, which before it would have shown level 50. I always thought it'd be neat if it showed your power level. Granted, that's a larger number, but I like watched it and waited for it to change to something else, and the whole time it was your class, your character's class. So we'll see if that's still the same when Shadowkeep launches. But obviously that was a previous build.
Said a while back about the class thing appearing, but they didn't say what else would be changing. So
right. Anyways, random side note here. Tell us about some of these other things.
Yeah, so also power granted from your seasonal artifact. It's additive to your equipable gear, meaning if you were at 950 and it gave you a bonus of 10, it would give your effective power level 960, but it doesn't affect your drops. does not increase the power of gear drops. So it's just going to help you with delta scaling. All your gear will now be 750. New characters will begin also at 750. And then they detail what they call power bands. I've never heard it described this way. BANDS. So we've got our floor, of course, 750. That's where everybody starts. We've got our soft cap of 900. So the soft cap in Destiny speak is the number at which you'll continue to get gear in the wild that'll just drop, right? And allow you to progress. Basically, when you're getting, random legendary engrams or legendary gear dropping from guys, you can up to 900. You'll be able to do that just playing and not necessarily having to pursue a powerful reward source, right? So it says all drops up to this point, up to 900, will be upgrades to the most powerful item in your inventory or vault. Beyond this point, only powerful and pinnacle rewards will increase a player's power. Past that is the powerful cap. That is 950. So all non-powerful, non-pinnacle rewards are capped at 950. Pinnacle rewards are the only way to raise power above this point. So pinnacle rewards are going to kind of be your new powerful rewards, if you will, in Destiny compared to what we have now. Pinnacle cap is 960. This is the highest power at which gear drops, also known as the hard cap. Seasonal artifact bonus power allows characters to obtain values above this level. So you're going to have 3 cap progressions. You'll get up to 900 playing out in the world just by playing the game, and you'll eventually reach that point. Past 900, you'll be basically pursuing activities that drop powerful rewards that will push you up to 950. And then you'll pursue activities that give you pinnacle rewards that will push you up to potentially 960. So 960 for this particular season coming up is going to be the hard cap, if you will.
Right. Still where I get kind of confused, and that it was a place we tried to get to all the way up to this point, was that they didn't just want the new content be what gives you powerful increase. And like they mentioned in a bullet point earlier, it says your true powerful reward sources have been changed to legendary rewards. So what I'm still trying to wrap my head around is...
What I wasn't sure about until I read it like 10 times was if that meant that those sources were moot, meaning they were no longer powerful, or if they were just referring to the fact that you could no longer get exotics from them.
Right, yeah, because then the bullet point, they specifically mention exotics, but the main bullet point makes it sound like the powerful legendaries, but were they just talking about exotics?
I think they were just talking about exotics, and the reason I'm leaning that way is because if you remember, some of the previous patch notes made tuning to powerful rewards for year 2 activities. And so I think that would indicate some of those sources, and they did that because some of those sources in the new content would be potentially pushing you too high up. So they'll still be powerful, but the level at which they'll offer progression is going to be, I think if I remember, like some of them were only a few points.
Yeah, was that that is right. Did they mention the Dreaming City would be like
it was
3 or 4
Dreaming City
or something?
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Things
so that does
previously
answer my
would give you
confusion.
like the biggest boosts.
Right. Okay.
Which of course, that was the newest stuff.
I just remember talking about this together many episodes back, and we were like, wait a second. They were trying to get to a point where like everything was still relevant. but that makes sense.
And if you remember, in the director's
so it is
cut,
still, but not as much.
that's something they brought up that became a problem, because after a whole season and an expansion of stuff, there were just too many.
Now there would be, even
and
more.
And then now with another big expansion with a whole bunch of activities that I'm sure will allow progression, it's like, I mean, if you have like 100 power sources or however many there are, unless you make them just incremental, like 1 point at a time, there's no grind. There's
it does kind of
no
almost
progression.
Makes sense that in the fall you get sort of a refresh of that, and then throughout the year everything still kind of stays relevant throughout that seasonal year, I guess. So that does kind of make sense. It just worried me that
it'll make more sense for those things to be useful after you hit the caps, and you want to say you want to go get an Armor 2.0 version of Reverie gear from the Dreaming City,
right,
and get it at level. Right. So you want to get it at level so it's useful. Okay, I can go do those things. They'll drop around my level. They'll be useful, 950 or whatever it is. So that you're not doing that stuff and just getting like 750 gear or whatever and then have to infuse it up. Right.
And of course we'll still have the normal ones. I mean, way back in the day, Destiny 1 days, public events were almost meaningless. So, of course we'll still have that aspect as well.
And they made some changes as well to
milestones.
public events and stuff and how XP is going to be delivered. So those could be more significant. All right. So moving on, because we got so much to cover. Prime engrams, you're going to get those more frequently and have a higher maximum charge cap, meaning there's 9 charges that you can get. You can build up for. The power gains were rebalanced, providing +3 power down from a range of +4 to +7. So slightly less impactful. This is going to help players avoid spending charges early for gains that are most beneficial during the soft cap. So you're not going to get prime engrams until you hit 900 power. So that's going to prevent those from dropping when you're at a state where you can level quicker and use those up before you actually need them. Bright Dust. You'll now earn by completing Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard weekly and repeatable bounties. They say they chose to do this from ritual weekly bounties, then spreading it out so that you can do it without having to make sure you complete a daily bounty every day. You'll be able to do the bounties as many times as you like. I think that's pretty cool, right? If you want to just grind out Bright Dust for an item that you need,
that is really cool.
You'll be able to go and just, knock it out, man.
Because as it is right now, unless I'm missing something, like I've had a couple weeks where I didn't have enough, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do.
Right. I mean, they have bounties, but you get so little from them.
Right.
Now, who knows how much they award, but hopefully it's enough. Big deal here if you were prepping. Any Crucible, Gambit, or Vanguard completed bounties need to be turned in before maintenance begins on September 30th, as these changes will reset them. Other bounties like Gunsmith Clan and Eververse can still be claimed after October 1st.
That's a big one because I was doing that prep. We meant to mention a little more prep last week. We talked about so much we didn't get to some of the prep we were going to tell you guys. It's going to be too late at this point because maintenance is happening as you're listening to this. But this is one I was doing. I'm setting on many bounties right now, and I got to go. I'm not one to like prep too much, but I'm like, I'll keep bounties. They're not really doing anything for me right now, and now I got to go look and see which is which. Yep. So there goes that.
Well, some other changes to Eververse, some of which we're already familiar with, like Eververse items dismantling into Bright Dust and other stuff. Go read up on that. Additionally, in the Eververse department, you'll now be able to get a new Season 8 Nostalgic Engram. It says it's no longer earned at level up. Instead, it's included in the free rewards of the season pass that are visible before level 100. It's also awarded every 5 levels after 100. So these will still exist. You'll just get them as part of that track. And then after you hit 100, every 5 levels, you'll get a engram there.
I'm wondering how long it's going to take us to hit 100, like your typical
Probably
player.
a few weeks
Yeah.
to a month, if I had to guess, if you're playing like regularly. You'll be able to see the Eververse via the director. Any bounties, any Eververse bounties were deprecated. You'll be able to break down bounty notes in Bright Dust. Glimmer, you can now store up to 250,000
Yep.
if you're a big baller. They mention most open world sources like public events, lost sectors, and chests have been significantly increased. Passive Glimmer gain on kill has been reduced. In addition to that, sometimes combatants will drop additional Glimmer chunks. Weekly bounties also award a large amount of Glimmer in addition to their other rewards. Maybe this will actually make Glimmer important again. Also in the currency department, the Spider now deals in materials from all planets, i.e., got a place for those Baryon Bowels.
Mm-hmm.
But he's making some changes to exchange rates. Glimmer now costs 10 legendary shards or 20 materials and gives you 10,000 Glimmer. The Tangled Shore dailies no longer give Glimmer, but give etheric spirals. Etheric spirals. That's.
I think I've seen those on the season pass level
that's
rewards.
the planetary material, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Etheric spirals.
At least an image that looked like that would be what it was called, is what I saw.
Weekly wanted bounties no longer award gear, but provide between 3,000 and 15,000 Glimmer in addition to the enhancement cores.
That
so
makes
no
me think that
stuff.
Glimmer is, gonna mean more.
Could be important, yeah.
Yeah. Another thing too, I mentioned this in a video a long time ago on my YouTube channel. They need like a little kiosk pod thing to be able to communicate with the Spider at the tower.
Right, man.
Like
he needs like a little emissary. Send a little fallen vandal, that can talk to the Spider.
Instead of having to go to, it's a cool place, but
can they just open a bank in the
separately
tower?
Into there? Yeah.
In D1, you went to the speaker, and you could exchange stuff there.
Yeah. I mean, if he's going to become like our space exchange,
or space banker, if you will.
Yes. Please get him something in the tower.
Yeah, please.
We'll see.
Zur will now include year 2 exotics in the faded engrams and inventory pool. So if you're missing anything from year 2, you'll have an opportunity to get it.
That works.
I think I just need the Hunter's, what was it called? Mechanics Trick Sleeves or something? What was it called?
Yeah, what you talking about? Not
the
for
new
sure.
one.
I need so many exotics on my alt characters, dude. I can't even begin to list.
Yeah, there's a bunch. Patching up preview, some huge quality of life stuff. Yes. I'm really excited about. They've added rally banners to Leviathan, Eater of Worlds, and Spire of Stars.
Very cool.
That's excellent, especially if you're going to try to go get some Armor 2.0 stuff from those. Oh, Kepri Sting. That's what I was thinking of. That's the one I need. Shattered Throne Dungeon is now available at all times and can be launched and reset from the director.
Maybe this noob can finally jump in there with you, Cyborg, and do the Shattered Throne.
We'll get you in there, man. No excuse anymore.
Nope.
Black Armory Forges are now accessible through the Director launch playlist on the EDZ. Thank God.
Such a big one, man. I still enjoy the Forges, and at some point I would love to still try to get that ship. And it's like, I think they told us a long time ago on that one too, like it wasn't something they were going to do right now, but maybe later.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. That's a big one.
Yep. Among other changes, this one's kind of cool. Borealis and Hardlight now match the Prism modifier when changing elements on reload. That's awesome. They fixed an issue with Hunter's Tempest Strike. Whole bunch of other stuff, interesting stuff here that you can read. and on and on. You can no longer farm materials from failing Black Armory forges. Sorry
about that.
Yep.
That's gone.
Why don't you tell us about these ritual weapons and perk changes?
Yeah, this has probably been the hottest topic this reset of all the things in here. So, ritual weapons and perk changes. They say in Season of the Undying, pinnacle weapons will become ritual weapons. They will no longer have special perks and will instead be curated roles. Previous article incorrectly showed 2 new pinnacle weapons. The good news is you will have 3 new ritual weapons from Crucible, Vanguard, and Gambit like we're used to. They do bring someone from the dev team to kind of explain why they're doing this. So we'll read through that here real quick, basically saying the decision to stop creating extremely powerful pinnacle weapons was made for a variety of reasons. The first was that the band in which the pinnacle perk can exist is actually quite small, and most of them far exceeded the efficacy they would have been at. Another issue is that they cause problems in the player ecosystem, particularly in the case of the Crucible pinnacle weapons. Due to the nature of PvP and PvE, anything that works well in PvP is likely going to be extremely effective in PvE as well. This forces players into the Crucible if they want the best loadouts. Even the title of Pinnacle set a variety of unrealistic expectations. Rather than being the absolute height of legendary power, they were supposed to be interesting novelties to chase. Basically, and they mention in here somewhere as well, I don't think it's in this first little portion here. Legendaries, yeah, it's down just a little bit further in the TWAB here if you guys read it. They basically say legendary weapons have gotten too powerful, and the pinnacle weapons were a prime example of that. So I guess before we dive into some of these PvE perk changes and the reduction of their effectiveness, what do you think about this, Cyborg? What do you think about the ritual weapons?
I agree with... I won't say agree with. I sympathize with the balance issue this presents, especially as more and more have been presented. So we've got guns like Mountaintop, Recluse, that just do... They just stand out. I mean, they're practically exotic in their execution.
Right.
I liked that they were so good. You know, like they stood out so much and were so desirable because it made me go and get those guns when I probably wouldn't have. Making them desirable was important, and but I get that they bring up the fact that, especially with PvP weapons, their effectiveness was so good that it forced players, and I won't say force, that's a little extreme, but it pushed players towards activities that they maybe didn't want to have to do.
Right.
I think that's a double-edged sword. You know, I think that can be good in some ways, but I also get like, all right, with Mountaintop, it's a really big, desirable gun this season for in-game stuff because it's so effective, and if you don't have it, people are like, oh, well, you know, you kind of need Mountaintop because everybody goes for the lowest common denominator, right? What's the easiest strategy? So I can see how that can become detrimental really fast. But I'm also sad that we're not going to get unique legendaries out of the pinnacle weapons anymore. Like, curated roles are cool, but I also wonder if this isn't a little bit of, hey, how can we make this easier to produce? Because if they got to produce 3 new legendary weapons every season with unique perks, not just like a new gun with a new skin and etc., but they have to test it, make sure it fits in the sandbox, have it be have efficacy. Use their word.
Yes.
Like if it's got to achieve all that, like doing 3 of those every season, I'm sure became it was a workload, right?
Yeah, I bet there was an aspect of we can't keep up with our own model here.
Yeah, beyond like what it does to the sandbox. Like if you keep making every gun the best gun, then eventually things get watered down, right? And that's kind of the point at which we're at. Like power creep has become a problem,
right?
That they've got to backpedal on, and that's why, as excited as I am for the new content, I'm a little disappointed in the amount of nerfing that's happening.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. It's
like,
at least it's all happening at once, so
it's painful
either going
to
to be
have to
super
backpedal
jarring, yeah,
on stuff like that, because ultimately you're gonna feel less powerful,
mm-hmm.
and that's not fun in a game where you want to feel powerful.
And we've been there before. We're hoping, the way Luke Smith said it when we first learned of some of these things, is that it's going to kind of be middle ground, not where we were and not where we are, but kind of in the middle. But we'll see how it feels ultimately.
I hope so. It kind of depends on how just things as a whole feel. But
right,
if I look at what I'm seeing, there's a lot of nerfs across the board.
It is, and hopefully it's not too much. I mean, obviously they're testing it, but one of the big ones is how often you get your super, right? Because in PvE, that was a big one when D2 launched. Like you want to get your super, you want to feel powerful. So that'll be like a big one to just see when we start playing come next week. But I don't know. I mean, I'm mixed feelings on this as well. I love the pinnacle weapons. It's one of the coolest things they've added to the game. And same as you, I can't imagine trying to come up with a pinnacle perk, much less thinking about balancing it in this game on two different sides of the game. It's got to be an absolute nightmare. And then, like you said, we just keep doing this every season. All of these weapons will just be the weapons to use. And we'll continue down here when we talk about individual perks. But they say, like I mentioned, that legendaries have just become too powerful. They're better than... They outclass a lot of exotic weapons, and you want exotics to be the ones that you're trying to decide to use. I am glad that they didn't decide to just do away with this model, because I love to have things to chase in each of those activities. And they do say somewhere in here, I think, or maybe elsewhere, that getting them will be, I think, a little less in depth, so it won't take quite as long to get the three of them, or each individually. But I worry, like you said, about the curated roles. We've heard that many times before, and there's been some neat curated roles of theirs, and then there's been others that aren't so great. And it's like, okay, who says this is curated, right? And it just worries me that it could really make it just not worth getting some seasons. Granted, we'll have a lot to do, but these pinnacle weapons were a really cool thing to chase. So.
Yeah, and I'm concerned what this is going to do for like the PvP community that has like the one carrot every season,
right? Yep.
Which is the pinnacle weapon, and you're downgrading the importance and the efficacy of their reward, and then what are you going to replace it with? Like, there hasn't been any mention of any new vanity rewards or anything for the new competitive experience, whatever that's going to be called even. It's not called the comp playlist anymore. So I'm a little worried about that this season.
I'm hoping, they even said in that vidoc that this year is the start of a new focus on Crucible. So I'm hoping it is our time now. They had their focus on PvE, and they've really gotten it, to a pretty amazing place. Of course, there's a lot coming with this patch and this update changing the PvE side too. But I'm hoping that there'll be some more carrots here within a season or two, maybe for PvP. But you're right, man. That's the first thing I did this season. I jumped in and I got my Revoker. And now it's going to be a curated, what is it? SMG. So, I don't use SMGs a lot.
No, it's a scout.
Sorry, I'm looking at Gambit. Yes, I don't use scouts a lot either in Crucible. And if it's only a curated role, I say
cool name,
only.
though.
They know their weapons. I don't want to just say only curated. Like, it's they know their weapons. They could make it a really nice, excellent perk combination. But if it's missing that pinnacle perk, it's like how many other weapons are going to be better or as good, right?
Yeah.
But the positive spin is I'm glad they didn't just do away with it. I'm glad we still have something to chase that's unique, unique named weapon that we can get that shows you did that thing.
What they show off, I love the models, the weapon models, and I love the names. Randy's throwing knife is hilarious. Right. So we'll see if they're worth the time. Mm-hmm. What about the PvE perks?
Yes, PvE perks. Back to that. They say they've reduced the effectiveness of the following perks in PvE: Rampage, Kill Clip, Swashbuckler, Multi-Kill Clip, Desperado, Surrounded, Master of Arms, and Onslaught. In general, these perks use the same damage multipliers for PvE that they did in PvP. They say the change to Rampage does not affect the Huckleberry. Onslaught and Desperado now change bullet impact values while active in PvE, and Surrounded no longer multiplies precision damage on top of base damage, as it was benefiting some weapon types more than others as a result. And this is where they say, I mentioned, they say legendary weapons have become too powerful overall. In many cases, they even outclass exotic primary weapons. So we're walking them all back a bit, all the way back. In original Destiny, we had a perk named Crowd Control, which was Rampage's predecessor. Crowd Control capped out at a bonus of plus 15% extra damage. This kind of puts it in perspective to everything we're talking about. They say at this point in Destiny 2, Rampage caps out at about plus 67%, which is a 447% increase from its original iteration. So basically what you said, Cyborg, this is another example of rolling some things back. So I don't know, man. It's going to be a whole different sandbox we're diving in here next week.
Yeah. To give you perspective, what I've read so far, Rampage is getting hit the hardest. Mm-hmm. Could be as much as a 0.3% reduction in its effectiveness. Not 0.3%, 30%.
Right. I don't know. There's just a lot going on here. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
Are we going to notice like immediately all of these things? Are we not?
I think the gun that's getting hit the worst is going to be Reckoner.
Yeah.
By these changes.
Yeah.
Reckoner's going to be not great in the mode it's made for. Yikes. I hope they balance that a little bit, like maybe just that gun. Yep. So moving on to some corrections they're issuing, or at least some clarifications. In the launch trailer, there was a shot of Trials of the Night armor. They want to let players know you'll not be able to obtain that in Season of the Undying. I think the point is it was a ornament.
Dude, yeah. There was a lot of conversation about that, of course. I forgot one thing I wanted to mention. Cosmo did reply in that previous, we were talking about those pinnacle weapons. He did reply somewhere, maybe on Reddit, and he said you will still be able to obtain all the old pinnacle weapons.
Yes, they're not going away.
Yes, sorry. And then on the Trials armor here, everyone was speculating before he clarified this as well, that this was some sort of ornament. Maybe finally they were allowing people who went flawless to be able to have ornaments on the Trials armor. But like you said, he said you won't be able to get this. But everyone's focusing on this. Is he said it will not be obtainable. And he didn't stop there. He said, in the Season of the Undying. Right. So everyone's like, what does that mean?
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's Trials in Season of the Dawn.
Could be.
Not confirmed.
Yes. Also, they've made some changes to the gameplay calendar for Season of the Undying. They changed the timing of some of the nightmare hunts. Another thing I think we forgot to go back and mention a couple weeks ago. One of the exotic quests was incorrect on the original map that came out with the TWAB a few weeks ago. It had the, I forget the name of the weapon, but
was it Divine or Divinity or something?
Yeah, something like that. And
we accidentally missed that thumbnail that episode, and it must have happened for a reason, because it wasn't right.
Right. Yeah, they put the wrong one on there. It's actually the exotic quest for Xenophage, which is that crazy bug machine gun, for lack of a better term, the bug gun. But they changed the dates and the timing that you'll see for some of the fun nightmare hunts that we'll get to participate in. So go check that out. There's an updated calendar there. They also talk about one of the mods that allow you to spawn heavy ammo for your friends with a finisher, and they've actually changed that since then, in that it creates heavy ammo only for you. Sounds like that got balanced out. A nerf before it even came out.
That means at least they're testing the sandbox.
Yep. Next up, they talk about, as promised, if you had purchased the Pride pin from the Bungie store, there was a emblem that was in the works, and they are showing off what that emblem looks like. It's coming up on, I want to say they're saying on Pride Day, they'll release that emblem. Oh, excuse me, International Coming Out Day will be the day that they allow you to, or will allow you to redeem that in some way. I'm not 100% sure how. They also mentioned that if you didn't get one of the pins, that you'll have an opportunity coming up here soon. They'll restock the Bungie store. And they accompany it with a personal story from one of the devs at Bungie, Nigel, that you may have seen from places like the Shattered Throne Ride Along, talking about his experience in that community and in Bungie. So you can go check that out. Yes. Next up, Bungie rewards. I was talking about this last week, and I said, I don't know if they're going to have a raid jacket, but here I am. Definitely wrong. There is going to be a raid jacket.
Look at the inside of that thing.
Very cool. What throws me off about these? Because I've only seen somebody wear one like once. Are they all just the same jacket, like with different trim? Because every time they show a different one, like the jacket itself looks like it's like cut and styled a little different. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I can't get a feel for it's the same like jacket body and like changed a little bit, or if it's a different jacket every time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to pull them all up.
I know that's a really...
maybe it's this very similar one every time, and that's why every time I'm like, that's a sharp jacket.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, you can earn this here raid jacket by completing the raid, Garden of Salvation, before the weekly reset on October 15th. They're also they say, we're giving you some extra time to power up this time. We don't know how many of you enjoy rushing through content. So even if you aren't ready to take on the raid before that, any player who completes the raid, Garden of Salvation during Season of the Undying, will be eligible to purchase a special t-shirt through Bungie Rewards. Now, they don't show the t-shirt because apparently it's got a spoiler on it. But this is cool. I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I want a raid
like
shirt.
That second layer of a shirt.
I'm going to wear my raid shirt with my raid jacket with my raid belt.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Nerd alert. Destiny nerd. But it's okay.
Oh, man.
I applaud you.
They also mention you'll be able to claim a Erismorn Papercraft mask by completing the main Shadowkeep quest by the end of Season 8. If you're already receiving Bungie newsletter emails, you'll get a direct link the next day, or you can visit bungie.net/rewards to redeem it. Because, it's Festival of the Lost coming up.
Yep.
And that's when you get Papercraft masks. All right. Tail end here, folks. Destiny player support.
Stick with us.
We've got that upcoming 24-hour maintenance we mentioned. Preloading has begun. It has officially begun. You can preload Destiny 2 on Steam. Thank goodness. We were worried about this last show. And just this week, preload for Destiny 2 went live. And you do have to totally download the game if you want to load it up on Steam. Fresh new download. It's about 80 something gigs. Question that I haven't seen answered yet, though, that like none of the language is totally clear on, is if that download includes Shadowkeep or not.
Yeah.
I still don't know. Even reading like what they've explained here, I don't know 100%. We'll find out Monday, which is when, by the way, console players will be able to preload the old Shadowkeep. During the downtime maintenance, you'll be able to download that on your console, which I know there's more of you on console. We should be talking about that. But PC is important too. Moving on, PC migration. All that's going to happen. I hope you got your stuff linked because that's going to be transpiring while this is all down. That's pretty much it. That's the most important stuff. There's some odds and ends of things. There's a cool trailer, fan-made trailer in the movie of the week for Shadowkeep that you should check out. A 7th column with the Duke. The Duke, baby. I love the Duke. Such a great gun.
I have so many Dukes in my vault.
So we'll get to this and reset. But yeah, this is pertinent. What you're saying right now. That's it. He said, this is it. The last TWAB before launch. Are you ready? The entire team has been working hard on this release. We got cross-save in your hands early and are excited to see you experience all the content in Shadowkeep. Thanks for sticking with us. You'll see a Starside Cosmo.
There it is.
That's it. The last TWAB before release. So excited.
Crazy. Just doesn't feel like it's release time yet.
This time next week, we'll have our heads just full of nightmares.
Yeah. Many different nightmares. Story nightmares, Armor 2.0, trying to wrap our head around it, nightmares. Sandbox, possible, hopefully not nightmares.
That's
Too
it.
many.
All right. In other news, that's all the news.
That's all the news. Yeah. We got a little special thing here, though, don't we, Cyborg?
Ah, yes, we do. Returning again, our friend Anon Pig from the Loose Cannon podcast has got a little bit of lore for you. Let's listen.
Hey everybody, I'm Anon Pig from Loose Cannon, and this is another little bit of lore. This time, I'll be talking about AER0KNIGHT. AER0KNIGHT was the first new NPC introduced to the Veteran Guardians all the way back in D1. She is voiced by the wonderful Morla Gorondona, and has been a primary figure in many important victories of our Guardians' history. Whether you thought her a warlock because she was one of Ikora Ray's hidden, or a hunter because of the choice of armor she wears, she is one of the community's favorite characters, and one with a tragic past. Just for the record though, she is a hunter. Now that's kind of up for debate of if she is still classified as a Guardian, but she absolutely was a hunter in the past. AER0KNIGHT's primary role in the Destiny story is to enact her vengeance on the Hive. Sometime before our Guardian was risen, the Hive launched their first large-scale attack from our moon. The most notable battle of this is the Battle of Mara Imbrium, where many Guardians lost their second life. The battle was the catalyst for Eris's hatred. She was there alongside Ariana III interrogating a wizard in an attempt to learn more about Crota, the son of Oryx. It was during the battle that Wai Ning, Ariana's significant other, died, and she died on Crota's blade. The warlock Ariana and the hunter AER0KNIGHT gathered a group of guardians to launch one final strike on Crota, who by the order of his father retreated into his throne world. This fire team you might remember from the last little bit of lore. It included Veltarlo, Omar Aga, Saimoda, and Tolan the Shattered. As said before, the only one to survive the raid on Crota was Eris, but she didn't come out without any losses of her own. She lost her ghost, and she also lost her eyes, but was able to replace her two with all three of an acolyte's. Eris survived beneath the surface of the moon for an unknown amount of time, edging her way to freedom bit by bit, sticking to the shadows. Cautious isn't cautious enough. When she finally emerged to the surface, she made her way back to the tower and informed the Vanguard and the Guardians that Crota's return was upon us. Along with her arrival to the tower, blades of Crota began appearing in the locations of Destiny 1. Knights sent to cause panic and kill as many as they can in tithe to Crota. We are sent to deal with the most bountiful tithes of Crota, and then Crota himself. And though Eris got her revenge on the one directly responsible for her grief, her work was not done. When Crota died, a cry went out across the universe, alerting his father Oryx, the Taken King, who Eris knew would come here to avenge his lost son. She began to prepare for Oryx's arrival by going to speak with Mara Sov. The queen stared at the hunter, her expression studiously unchanged. I have no wish to play politics. I have no grievance with the city, not anymore. I have no grand hopes to end the war, for long have I known I will not see its end. I am here for one battle and one alone, because it is a battle we must all fight, together or separately. So I will warn the defenders, together or separately. I will do anything. Her low voice shook with passion. To end Oryx. When Oryx finally arrived, Mara stepped in front of his path, having ulterior motives of course, sacrificing herself in the process. Eris moved from the balcony closer to the vanguard to plan for the attacks, but Cade had his own plan. We assist him, stealing Eris's ship and some other things to sneak onto the dreadnought. Once there, we begin doing more of the same, fighting things that would aid Oryx, and then, thanks to the help of Eris, going after Oryx himself in his throne world. Soon after the death of Oryx, Eris decided she needed to leave the safety of the city. This is an important decision, as without a ghost, her next death is her last. But she knows that something more is coming and leaves to go find out what the next thing is. During her time away, Gaul attacked the city, Cade died, and we opened up the dreaming city to Guardians, which was very beneficial for Eris. Now before I continue with what Eris actually did, I would like to bring up some things that Eris didn't actually do. After we opened up the dreaming city, and after that fateful fire team went to end the last known Ahamkara Riven, and after the curse was in full swing, we were invited into Marasov's court. It was here that we began to get letters that were said to be from Eris. I'm so glad you're the one who found me. I've foreseen so many horrors with these stolen eyes, but now, when for once I ache to know the future, I can't be sure of even a simple hope. Are you the one reading this message? I think it must be you, Guardian. Who else would look for me? Ikora trusts are hidden to return when they are needed, and Cade would roll himself down Angel Falls in a barrel before he'd admit he missed me. Zavala does not place me first on his list of worries. You're the only one who would go out and look for me. Later on, in the same entry, I lost my ghost and my light to the Hive. I conspired with the Queen of the Awoken to destroy the Hive King Oryx and his son Crota, and to position Queen Mara as a player on the cosmic board. I fled your tower to prepare for the struggle to come, into the sea of screams, which call to all those who plumb the depths of the Hive magic. I can only slip these letters into the Queen's gifts when the stars are right. You will have to wait for my next, and with it, the beginning of the truth. But I swear to you on whatever trust I've earned in your mind, that at the end of my story, you will know who I truly am. This so-called Eris spoke to us across 2 weeks, but on the second, our ghost cracked the cryptographic spackle the author used to hide their messages, and revealed that they were in fact a submind called Medusa. Medusa's purpose was to imagine humans and learn from them. She used Eris as a way to bridge communication with us, thinking we'd be more likely to trust Eris. However, as the lore book goes, we see Medusa unravel into the possibility of truly being Quoria, then back to Medusa, and then finally back to Eris, claiming that she was just nervous to talk to us directly this whole time, and that she feels bad for lying to us. I'm so ashamed. Mid-sentence, mid-thought, the fear seized me that I was being a stupid child, that I was wasting your time with idiot sentiment, that you would feel contempt for me at this outpouring of emotion, or worse, feel nothing at all. I hid in the dark for years, Guardian. It's not loneliness or death that frightens me, it's the opposite. So I invented Medusa as a way to pretend I'd never spoken to you, and when I thought the Medusa lie was slipping, I invented all the rest of it, as a way to tell you what I'd learned without admitting it was really me. How can I prove to you that I'm really Eris Morn, not Medusa, not Riven, not Quria, not Dulankaru, not the Witch Queen herself? I don't know. Will you believe me? Will you scour these pages for proof or disproof? Will you upload these files to your networks, share them, call in warlocks and cryptarchs to catalog and dissect everything I've said? Will this manuscript become the foundation of another teetering edifice of theory and anticipation? Our interactions with Eris, Medusa, Quria, Eris doesn't go unnoticed by the Vanguard either. From the lorebook Stolen Intelligence to the entry Forgeries, the hidden reports go through the messages and do their work to confirm the person sending the messages couldn't be Eris due to the lies they tell. Basically, doing exactly what that last entry asked we would do. Upload it to our networks and call in the warlocks and cryptarchs to catalog and dissect. Probably playing right into the hands of whoever sent the message, but 1. As you all know, an unknown sender delivered 6 messages to VIP number 2014. These missives were sent via Glimmer, using a simple encryption scheme that even a 5530 unit frame could have easily cracked. Number 2014's Ghost took immediate notice of these messages and quietly forwarded them to AER0KNIGHT, who then distributed them back to us. CF reports number 167173 Vesta DC for full transcripts. 2. In these messages, the sender briefly purports to be none other than ERI-223, providing fanciful details regarding her origins as a human woman who grew up in an apparent settlement of old Russia known as St. Petersburg. None of this account sat well with anyone who actually knows ERI-223, not simply because none of her close confederates had any first-hand knowledge or belief that she knew her pre-Guardian origins, but also because she is still active in the field and has personally denied sending these messages. That being said, in accordance to our vigor and skeptical inquiry, this agent was dispatched in pursuit of hard evidence to the contrary. 3. I submit to you photographic and video evidence recovered from civilian family albums, historical archives, and extant ghost recordings originally captured in the Last City. Behold, ERI-223, a child of the Last City, born to civilian parents in a mortal Guardian integrated neighborhood. Behold, too, tiny VIP number 1786. Though he is almost more unbelievable than ERI-223 if you look at his smile. The current best bet for VIP number 1786 is Asher Mir, considering the oddness of seeing them smile. The actual Eris's travels took her back to the moon, searching for whatever the Hive were working on, but an encounter with Savathun brought torment she's never encountered before. She heard the voices of her lost fire team and even saw a figure of Ariana built from dust and grime stand before her. Eris was taken into the Ascendant Plane, where she found Toland in the form we now know him, who guided her to relative safety. Emerging back into our reality, guns were drawn on her until the one leading noticed it was Eris. Petrovenge urged Eris to meet with the Queen, who at this point was still present in her court. Eris explained her purpose, and Mara accepted and offered her assistance. This might actually be where Mara went off all those weeks ago. They traveled across the galaxy, looking for the clues of what Savathun was planning, only to find it was, all along, just on the moon. Eris went back to this place one more time and found what the Hive were hiding, and knowing it was more than she could fight, she came back to the tower. Ikora heard her out and let her know they were already aware of the Scarlet Keep's construction, which was news to Eris. Eris now waits for us on the lunar surface, plagued by the insufferable imitations of her lost fire team. Thanks for listening. That was another little bit of lore.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed that. That's something we did, few episodes ago, and we told you we'd probably have more, and we hope to have more in the future. We like to squeeze in the lore when we can, so thanks, Anon, for doing that.
just in time for Shadowkeep.
Just in time.
Your little info
Everybody
about Eris.
loves AER0KNIGHT, right?
They do, you know? She's universal fan favorite, I think.
I think so. It seems as though.
We'll see if that's still the case.
Yeah, right. I know. That's we're all excited she's back, but we've got some new stuff that will be transpiring. So we'll see. We'll see. Cyborg, how was your reset, buddy?
You know, my reset consisted of hours of vault cleaning.
Nice.
As I had discussed.
I'm not done with that yet.
I wanted to make
well
a bunch of room. And a lot of my stuff is not going to be as valuable anymore. And so I was just ruthless. I only allowed myself to keep up to 2 rolls of a gun.
Nice.
Max. And I had like, I think 8 Dukes.
Yeah, I have so many, and I heard they ever even use it.
Really cut it down. And just kept a lot of my favorite and best rolls on guns. Got rid of a bunch of armor across the board. And man, I've got some great armor with like enhancement perks and all kinds of good stuff like that. So I'm down to like 300 something in my vault, 330 maybe in my vault. Which sounds like a lot probably for some people. But yeah, I think it's plenty of room.
Yeah, I'm at like 470 something still, so I need to go back. Mm-hmm. So that's plenty of room to me.
Yeah, I'll do fine. I'll do fine with that. I did that, and you know, I really felt like I wanted to finish something before Shadowkeep launched.
Nice.
So I went and queued up and finished Metro Exodus this week.
Oh, cool.
Because I had played that a bunch when it came out, and I got derailed by something, probably Destiny. And I realized, like, wait, I'm on like the last, or maybe I was on the second to last zone, like area or level or whatever you want to call it. It's like, I bet I could finish this. So a couple nights I sat down and I finished that story and that game off. It was really good. It was a little divergent from the previous formula of Metro, but it progressed the story in an interesting way, and I enjoyed it. And it was a fun, like, it's a hardcore shooter, like survival shooter, right? And yeah, I had a good time. It was a great romp.
I always have a hard time when I get derailed, go back to Destiny or something. When I started an experience like that, I have a hard time starting back where I was, because I want to start over and fully immerse myself back into what was going on. It's so hard to do with so many games these days because they're just too big. Like when I loaded up Red Dead again a month or so ago, I'm like, man, should I just start this over? And I'm like, there's no way. I can't. There's no way I'll finish it if I start this over.
For me, I'm always hesitant because I don't know the control scheme.
Oh, and right.
I'll start it up and not remember like what I was doing, how to use.
That's one of my favorite things. Yeah. Is it's like overwhelming, but I love to just make myself take some time to look at all the menus and all the things, go back through and read the quests if they still let you, read the ones you completed. But yeah, it's overwhelming, right? I mean, how did you even dive back in being that close to the end of it?
It's funny because I probably spent an hour and a half. I could not figure out. Okay. So the control scheme with guns in this game is you have 2 guns you carry and then a third gun that's similar in Destiny to like your heavy. It's not necessarily a heavy weapon. It's a different type of weapon. It's like a specialized weapon. And I kept trying to swap between weapons and I was like, why can't I get this gun back? Like I thought I might have like swapped it or dropped it or something, because you can do that a lot in the game. And so I just kind of played on hard mode for like an hour and a half because I needed this gun in the situation I was in. And then I accidentally held down the Y button and it came up and I was like, smacked head, like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is how you get the gun out. It's just like in Destiny, like you just hold down Y and you pop your heavy up. So yeah, that happened. And
that happens.
After that, everything was smooth sailing.
Very nice.
I remembered everything fairly quickly. But like, oh my gosh, Red Dead, like the first 4 hours I played Red Dead, I was just the worst cowboy ever because I could not adjust to that scheme. So I know if I tried again, it would be horrible. Have you seen any of the rumors though about Red Dead? That
I don't think
a
so.
lot of people think they're going to do an Undead Nightmare thing again.
Oh, really?
Like they did for Red Dead Redemption. Because there's been like some glitches in the multiplayer where people have had like weird colored skylines and like haunted music and like dead characters' eyes being green and stuff. So everybody's like, oh, it's going to be Undead Nightmare. It's going to come back. So keep your eyes peeled. Dude,
it's so crazy. In a different gaming time, I would still be like all crazy into playing Red Dead right now. In a world, this could be in any case with any game, in a world where Destiny wasn't a thing, I would be playing these games like regularly, especially Red Dead. But that's okay. I don't want to imagine a world without Destiny.
In a world where your favorite game doesn't exist,
what would you play? That's a good question. In a world where Destiny 2 didn't exist, Guardians, tweet at us at Destiny Reset. Let us know what you'd be playing right now.
I'd probably still be playing Ark, to be honest.
Yeah, that's right. You had your whole Ark kick.
Oh my gosh. Yep. We were like hopelessly obsessed with that game.
I would be probably balancing Red Dead and Borderlands 3 right now. Definitely.
Borderlands, yeah.
I mean, we spent so much time in GTA days in online mode, laughing all night long. But we got this fantastic game called Destiny to play. So
we do. But man, that's like pretty much all my reset that I've done. What about you? What have you been up to?
Dude, this has been even more so this week. I have definitely been on like a gaming chill binge. I have not played any Destiny this week. I logged in one night, then ended up I fell asleep, and then I logged in tonight before we started recording and actually haven't even played at all. I'm planning to play tonight, but up to this point, no Destiny. I got to clean out my vault. I got to do some prep, but I'm kind of doing that thing where it's not that I don't want to play. I just know I'm going to be playing a ton next week, and I'm just kind of taking it easy. I'm almost same as last week. I haven't played any since I mentioned last week. I'm like 74% on my medals for Hush. So I kind of wanted to wrap that up, but I'm like, you know what? I'm okay. I'll be in Gambit next season.
Yeah,
like
you will.
At some point. There's like,
right.
I'm just going to take it easy. I would like to get Mountaintop. That's another one I was going to try and do before Shadowkeep. But again, I'll be in the Crucible. I'll probably try to cater the way I'm playing to maybe get that. But I'm kind of just taking it Destiny easy this week.
Destiny easy, if you will.
Destiny easy. There you go. I like that. Before the crazy awesomeness of next week. Now I played a little bit of Borderlands 3. Not much. I don't know what it is about that game. Sometimes I log in and I'm like, I love Borderlands. Man, I remember the days. This is so cool. And then sometimes I log in and I'm like, this looks like Borderlands 2 that I played 5 years ago. And it doesn't look exactly the same, but sometimes I'm excited about playing it. And other times I'm like, man, it just doesn't, like, I don't have any drive right now to play it. And I think I don't think it's with that game. I think Destiny, I don't know what it is about Destiny. We've talked about this before. It's definitely, of course, the investment level we have in Destiny, but Destiny gives you that feeling, at least where we're at with it. I feel like any Guardian for the most part. And maybe if you're just returning or you come back here and there, you don't get this feeling as much, but of the meaningfulness of everything you're doing, I guess, like getting that pinnacle weapon or powering up, some of it powering, maybe you could argue doesn't seem like it has a lot of meaning to it, but I guess it's the overall investment. So when I play Borderlands is definitely more of that, like, play with your friends and have an amazingly fun experience until you feel like you've beat it and then you're done, right?
Well, yeah.
Whereas
until
Destiny's
you hit, like a certain level as well, all the gear that you have, will one day be replaced. Even if it's horrible. Like, oh, I found this awesome gun and it's so much fun. Well, 10 levels later, it's not anything. It's not worth. It's worthless.
And maybe that's part of it too. Is it's like, man, I got a level 50 levels again for like the millionth time
Yeah.
in gaming history. But again, it's nothing to reflect on Borderlands 3. The game, at its core, I mean, it's there. The loot's there. It's definitely there. It's just, I think, again, in a world without Destiny, I'd be playing Borderlands 3. And
Right.
I saw this week too where they've already announced a Halloween event for Borderlands 3. So it does seem like it's kind of getting that
What's
Bungie
the event? I must have missed
longevity. It's just that they announced that there was a Halloween event with they're going to have more loot, boss from the main campaign that's like twisted into a Halloween type version of himself. So that stuff's cool. And anybody that's playing Borderlands 3, you know, I mean, it seems as though it's what it has always been. It's just weird, I guess. I guess maybe it's nothing other than the fact that I invest into Destiny and we haven't had a Borderlands in a long time.
Yeah.
So it's just hard for me to get into it, especially knowing what's coming next week. It's like, man,
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to play this next week.
Well, I'm
So,
glad all the timing worked out the way it did with the delay of Shadowkeep, because it's given a lot more breathing room to the game.
yeah, for sure.
And yeah, things would have been like, we'd be having different conversations about that.
I maybe
game,
would
you
have
know?
saved $60, but
Right.
I'm just kidding. I'm glad I got it. At some point, I'll play it some more. Borderlands taps into more than Destiny does that like Diablo-esque loot feeling. Like it's just everywhere. It's just a loot explosion.
Yeah.
All the time, and that's always fun. Whereas in Destiny, you don't so much get that. I mean, there's loot, but it's not like there's just showers, just
Right.
colors
That's what
all over the
Borderlands
ground.
does as well. Like,
Right.
just tons and tons of gear just dropping all the time.
Just reminds me, I've said it multiple times already, it reminds me of Diablo when you kill that Rift boss, and just, at least back when I played it, and loot just spills out all over the floor, and then you get that
Yeah.
ping, you know, like the golden, you know, light to the sky.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Of course, I'm still playing Minecraft with my kiddo. I think I said last week we decided to dive into survival mode, and we were playing creative up to that point, and it's been a blast, dude. Like we started with this little hole in a hillside, and now we've like expanded outside of that, and we've got different rooms, we've got some chests, we've gotten enough materials to be able to make all kinds of stuff. Then we decided we were going to start mining. Somebody, shout out to you every time. I wish I'd pull up my Twitter. It was Wielding Hammer, I think, sent us a little pro tip that said you need to do some mining and go down this far. So we made like this back room in our house with a door so nothing could come up from down there, even if they could or couldn't. And we started mining just like way down.
Nice.
So we have like a full set of iron armor now, and it's been fun,
That's
man.
cool.
So yeah, it's been fun figuring that game out with him. So anyways, that's that and a massive Lego project we've had this week. We got all of his Legos together and put them out on this huge desk we have, and we were like building a Lego city. So that's been
That's
my
awesome. We've been buying a bunch of
fun
like
this week.
I bought like 2 of these huge sets of like just pieces, just construction.
Oh, yeah.
It has like all different colors, just because we wanted more stuff to just build with, like more just raw materials like bricks and 1 and 2 stud bricks and all kinds of stuff like that. And we've been making all kinds of stuff. He's really into making like 8-bit statues of Mario stuff.
Oh, nice.
So
That's
we made
cool.
a Mario, a Luigi, a Goomba, what else did we make? I'm trying to think.
No
Make
Bowser.
a flower? No, we didn't do Bowser.
Bowser
yet.
would be hard.
We did something else. I have to go look in his room. He's got them all displayed and stuff. We did like 5 or 6 different ones. It took us like
That's
it was
so cool.
over a couple weeks, and he like just likes to look at them.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we set
fun.
it up. We've been playing Minecraft in our game room, of course, and we set up behind us. We got this huge desk, and we brought it in the game room. And it's actually my wife's old desk, and she's gonna get a new one. And it's a huge surface, And we just like, all right, let's organize all this. Let's just start the city. Let's do the city thing again. And we got plenty of room on this. So it's been fun. We play Minecraft and then we'll turn around and play Legos. And we're actually dabbling into like there's a whole YouTube world out there of cool animated Lego videos. And we're actually kind of setting it up in a way. And it's so fun to teach him this stuff and then, learn and do it together. But just dabbling into the world of like video, and video editing with different stuff like that. It's super cool. So, man, any of that stuff, anything's fun with your kids. So,
yep.
It's been a blast. It's fun just seeing him figure out Minecraft, and I'm learning with him because, like I said, I didn't play Minecraft a ton over the years, and just watching him craft things and figure out how to do it and what it is, and we figure it out together. It's like the ultimate gaming experience to play with your kids.
Yeah.
So very cool. At some point, we'll be raiding together in Destiny, I'm sure.
One of these days.
Well, wait, I said raiding. As it is right now, we'll be playing trials together, but maybe you can get me back in the raids.
Okay. We'll see.
Anyways, that's been my reset, man. That's
nice.
That's it in a nutshell. Next week, Shadowkeep.
Shadowkeep. It's going to be a big
Yes.
show.
What do we do
How about
first?
some Dirt Fam discourse?
Yeah, we got an email from last week. Sorry we didn't get it on last week. Just so much to talk about, but here we are. This resets. Would you like me to take it?
Yeah, read it, please.
That's a great one. Phil's Fury says, Destiny Reset Team. I'm a longtime Destiny player on Xbox, gamertag Phil's Fury, and just recently discovered and started listening to the podcast. I joined the Discord and am excited to interact with players from the Dirt Fam. Awesome show and love what you guys are doing. Well, thank you so much, Phils. Appreciate it. In recent shows, you guys have reminisced about D1 exotics and some you would like to see return. My question for you guys is, if you had a loadout with 3 specific weapons throughout the 5 years that's defined Destiny for you, or just a loadout that is a go-to for you that you would equip for anything and everything. For me, my favorite loadout from all of Destiny would be D1 Year 1 Vision of Confluence, Solar Burn, of course, D1 Year 1 Black Hammer, pre-nerf, and Gjallarhorn. Thank you guys for building an awesome community and for giving me a way to connect to Destiny even while I'm at work. Phil's Fury. Awesome email and question.
Killer build right there.
Yeah, right.
Vision, Black Hammer, and Gjallarhorn. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
This is a tough one too. You almost have to. I actually pulled up again my D1 item manager, and I don't know about a whole loadout. I mean, of course I have specific weapons that came to mind, but do you have a whole loadout, Cyborg?
I don't know if I thought about D1, like the most definable loadout, I would imagine would be like, probably like something like Fatebringer, Icebreaker, and
Dude, it's so funny you say that.
some kind of, I'm trying to think of like the heavy from D1 that like, legendary heavy from D1.
Yeah, because you get your Icebreaker. Or is that legendary heavy, right?
Yeah, probably like my Crota's End era rocket. What was it? What was the rocket from the raid?
Oh, what was that thing? I'm trying to look right now. I've got my stuff pulled up.
I can't remember now. There's so
those
many
little Crota
guns
weapons.
though, but then like
Hunger of Crota.
Hunger of Crota, yeah.
There it is.
But then maybe
Still got it on my
something
Warlock.
Like, man, there's so many. I don't know. What do you think? What do you got?
Man, I'm looking at all my PvP rocket launchers. I got the Ash Factory. Remember that thing?
Oh yeah.
Man, for me, thinking of a whole lot out was kind of hard. I definitely instantly landed on Fatebringer and Icebreaker. I mean, when I think of Icebreaker, dude, I just remember setting at the entrance to Atheon, back on those stairs. Do you remember those days?
Yeah.
And everybody would just go, all right, everybody ready? Doors open. Over and over again. Oh, man, it's just so funny. But yeah, definitely Fatebringer, Icebreaker. Vision that he mentioned was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Such an amazing gun. But as far as a whole loadout, I mean, I'd have to just say Fatebringer and Icebreaker and whatever legendary heavy. But man, there's so many good ones though. Like
Touch
Vex,
of Malice.
Yeah, dude. And I mentioned Zalo last week.
That was a fun gun.
Dude, there's just so many memorable weapons over the years. And then if I start dabbling into the Crucible, it's just a whole another ball game. So great question though. That's we'll have to throw that like we always do at the community as well. You guys can tweet at us or email us your response to Phil's Fury. That question.
Yeah, but
there.
what he wanted to
can
know
they do
was
that?
if you have a loadout with 3 specific weapons throughout the 5 years that defines Destiny for you.
Mm-hmm.
So D2 is included. We're just stuck on D1 stuff because we're nostalgic and we're suckers for that, right?
Yep. So
Right.
awesome email though. How can they get in contact with us?
Yes.
Cyborg?
Destiny Reset Podcast at gmail.com. You can send us an email or you can send us a speakpipe, speakpipe.com/Destiny Reset.
There you have it.
Yep. Do you have any patron shout outs this week, man?
We do. The amazing Bob Dunn 413 been around for a long time on the Twitterverse and now in the Discord. So, and now a patron. Thank you so much, Guardian.
Thank you. If you don't know what a patron is, go to patreon.com/Destiny Reset. And for as little as $1 a month, you can support the budget of our show. You can get a few perks if you do so. You get a shout out on the show. You get your gamer tag on our website. And you get an invitation to a Discord channel just for Dirt Fan patrons and supporters. And as always, we continue to thank every patron that we have who month after month continue to give to the show and help support us. It means a lot to me and Arrow that you do that, and it really makes a difference for us. So thank you. It
means a ton. We tweeted out from our Derp account this week all a screenshot of all you guys. It's amazing how many names are on the website.
Yeah,
and
man. It's crazy.
It's just means so much to us. And it's not just the patrons. You know, of course, we mentioned as well the Dirt Fam and just anybody that's ever listened to the show, even if it was just one episode.
Yep.
It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, man. Couple more sleeps.
More
sleeps. It's time.
It's so funny. I hear people call it that. I think DMG's even called it that. And that means, like, I've heard that so many times now since you have kids. How many sleeps until something?
How many sleeps until something happens, right? Yep.
Definitely. It's funny. Funny stuff.
2 more sleeps, Sarah.
Thank you, Cyborg.
Where can people find you when they're not asleep?
When they're not asleep, you should get some sleep. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter at AER0KNIGHT with a 0. What about you, man?
Perfect. You can find me on the interwebs at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter. You can finally find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter and on the web, www.destinyresetpodcast.com. It's your source for all things DRP, including links to subscribe on your favorite podcast app of choice. You can also find us now on Spotify and Podbean, which are 2 awesome apps. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and you haven't left us a review, go leave us a review because you get a shout out right here. How many we got? What do we got this week?
We got 3 shout outs, 4 reviews. One was not written, but we thank you just as much. You want the honors or you want me to take them, Cyborg?
Yeah. Rogers09. Thank you. Donkey Sausage. Thank you, Mr. Sausage. Pour in Whiskey. And then we had another review with no written portion, just 5 stars out of 5. And hey, if you're listening, go leave a review because it helps us get seen and heard by more listeners like you when they go search for a Destiny podcast. And we want that.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Guardian, so much for taking the time. It means a lot.
All right, man.
It means so much.
See you on the moon.
Yeah.
With my moon pies.
Right? We still haven't played together. For any Guardians wondering, we just...
it's just because we're lazy.
We record the show, and then we text, and we don't play Destiny together. That's just our relationship. We'll have to play soon, Cyborg.
I'll see you on the moon.
Yeah. We'll see each other on the moon. That's where the reunion will happen in game.
I like it.
On the moon with Eris.
That's not weird.
Okay. No, not at all. I was, I'm not going to edit it out either.
Perfect.
Until next resets, have fun playing Destiny 2, and take care, Guardians.